Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first meeting of the Community and Engagement Scrutiny Committee. Is there any apologies for absence?
No.
No? Okay, right. Any declarations of interest? No? Great. Okay, so then we're on to our guest here, who's come from Sanctuary Housing to give us a review of the schemes in Basildon.
Okay, so my name's Sarah Brind. I'm the Head of Development at Sanctuary Housing. I'm just going to do a short presentation to provide an update on our progress at our two developments in Basildon. We've got Langdon and Beechwood. I'm also going to include a little bit of history on the site, just to provide a bit of context. But so I won't focus too much on the past, because I'm sure you're all aware of kind of the sites and kind of where they're at. So if I just move on to, this is our scheme in Langdon, the Langdon regeneration. The scheme is a regeneration of the existing shopping centre, with a focus on reprovision of retail units and housing. The site is split into three areas, or three phases, if you like. The yellow area on this plan is the old shopping centre that has since been demolished. The blue area is what we call the ramp site, and that's where the ramp over the road was terminated. And then the red site is the current Lidl site. The site was purchased in 2015 and gained planning consent back then for 210 homes, retail spaces, doctor's surgery, a Lidl and a Swan office. Work started in 2019 with the demolition of the shopping centre and the demolition of the pedestrian footbridge. And we've installed two substations within the ramp site. The new Lidl site, which is the area to the north of the yellow outline, has been excavated to base course, and the retaining wall around it has been constructed. And also then the podium and stair cores have been built, and office block has been constructed. When Sanctuary took on the scheme, we looked at the plans and reviewed the plans that were existing, and we were looking to rationalise the build costs and the build complexity. Starting with phase one, we've lowered the roof lines and changed the roof pitches. Alongside that, in response to changes in building regs and the 2022 Building Safety Act, we removed the top floor of some of the apartment blocks, that's blocks A, D, G and H, and we omitted the cladding from blocks C and F. And then alongside that as well, we looked to do some enhancement and improvement work to the plans, and we have amended the podium landscaped areas, which are in the centre of the site there that you can see. So whilst these were only minor amendments, they have a small impact on the appearance of the site, but have made a huge difference actually to the build complexity and the build cost. And you can see here, these are the elevations that we're currently working to. They don't look hugely different to what was approved previously, but there are amendments to the roof lines, like I say, and removal of those floors. So this is a photo of works that are going on at the minute. So this is the highway works. To date, we have had 2 resident consultation events. Sanctuary officially took ownership of the site from Swan in March 24. We've completed the Section 278 agreement, and the highways work started in August. And we've also submitted and had approved a non-material amendment incorporating the changes that I just spoke about. We've also got the stage 4 design works underway. So with the plans, and when you're kind of working on a site, you get to stage 3 and you get planning permission, and then stage 4 is the working drawings. So that's what we're kind of having designed and drawn up at the minute. We're also procuring the main works packages for the actual main works on site. This is another picture of the works kind of underway on the highway. Over the next 9 months, the key milestones for this project, we're looking to award the internal construction contract, and that will be, we're looking to build the scheme out by our internal construction team, which is Beech Grove Homes. So we'll be awarding that. We'll be completing the stage 4 detailed design and tender of the subcontract packages. We'll commence enabling works to the Hall Road, which is around the back of the site along Danacre. And we will be undertaking waterproofing works, etc., of the existing podium block. The commencement of works to the actual flats around the staircores will be starting by about September, October of this year. This year we'll also be completing the phase 1 highway works that will allow the Lidl works to start once the access into their site is formed. And we will be also completing the remaining highway works towards the end of this year as well. So after that, we have completed the stage 4 design of the design work, our attention will be moving to review the phase 2 section of the development, which is the housing to the back of the site around Danacre. We'll also be looking at our proposals for the ramp site and whether this does or doesn't include the NHS. And also proposals for the old Lidl site as well, once they move across to their new area. So that's Langdon. Moving then on to Beechwood. So within this, I'll be focusing really on the development to the west of the site, so the west phase, which is in green on this plan. And also the development to the phase north, which is the light blue area on this plan. The purple area is phase 1A to F, which has completed, and then the yellow area is south, which is something that we're no longer pursuing by a sanctuary. When Swan joined Sanctuary, the works were well underway on phase west, and now they're nearing completion. We've got 33 sale homes and 9 rental homes left to hand over, and they should be handing over by the end of next month. This will complete the works on phase west, with the exception of the homes on the Frith. So this is a phase west plan, and the homes on the Frith are shown in green on this plan. The homes on the Frith are awaiting Section 278 works. Once the Section 278 works are done on that area, then we'll be able to complete those homes. We are close to getting that work sorted. We're just awaiting an agreement with Highways. As soon as the Highways agreement is in place, those works will start. And then we're also looking at plot 165 as well, which has had to be redrawn. So that's in the centre of the site. It's having to be redrawn because it's impacted by a fence position. But aside from that, once those are done, that's west dealt with. Moving on to north, at the time of the Swan Sanctuary deal, only 2 blocks within Beechwood North had been demolished. The remainder of the blocks were hoarded. Prior to the demolition recommencing, the historic deed of variation needed amending. That agreement was quite complicated and took a fair bit of time to unpick. And as soon as that process was completed, the demolition works recommenced. So that was in April 24, and the demolition has now completed, or completed in December 24. We're undertaking the same design review as at Langdon to reduce the build complexity and increase the desirability of the homes. And our redesign will be submitted on a Section 73 application at the start of February. This includes the removal of some undercroft parking, some addition and amendment of window positions, and the introduction of private gardens and private dwelling space to the flat, or private dwelling entrances, sorry, to the block of flats. These proposed elevations, these are proposed elevations, and you can see on these that it retains the elements, or some elements, of the award-winning design that's currently within Beechwood West. So it's, whilst we simplified it and we have changed some of the materials, it's still going to look very much like Beechwood West. So this is some photos just showing the progress to date on Beechwood North, which includes the demolition and clearance of the remaining blocks, full design review ahead of the Section 73 submission, and then we're also working up the infrastructure packages. Over the next 9 months, we're going to be undertaking resident liaison works. We're going to, again, award an internal construction contract to be built by Beechgrove Homes again. We're going to commence our stage 4 detailed design works. Going to tender the subcontractor packages, commence enabling works, and hopefully get the approval of the Section 73 submission, and then we'll commence works to homes this year, by the end of the year. That's it. That's just another picture there of the demolition works. So you can see actually these sites, they're very much inside, in amongst existing housing. So the consultation with the residents and involvement with the residents is going to be key, really.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I just ask you, where is Beechwood? Is it Crowlands?
Yes, it is, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. All right, thank you. Has anybody got any questions? Councillor Sargent.
Can I just ask about Craylands? Will you be demolishing all of those maisonettes?
So we've demolished everything that we're going to demolish has been demolished now. That's all in the Beechwood North area. There is still Beechwood South, which I understand the council are looking at alternative options for that area, because Sanctuary are not able to proceed with that because of the financial viability. But yeah, everything, I think all of the maisonettes in Beechwood North have been demolished and will be replaced by housing.
Anybody else? No? Oh, that was quick. Christine, do you want to say anything? Oh. Silence reigned. Okay. Well, thank you for coming along. Much appreciated.
I mean, there's one point, I think, whether we can ask Sarah to come back in sort of, let's say, sort of 6 months, because I mean, by that point, we'll start to see the changes to Langdon, and which will be quite interesting, I think, for members to understand the big, because that's going to start seeing some significant changes around the flats starting built out, and also we might have the some of the work on the back of the site in some sort of format by then as well.
Yes,
because I think it's quite. I know it's been quite an issue for members. The amount of time that's taken to happen, and also some discussion then also about the retail strategy for filling the units as well. Be quite interesting, because that again is the community benefit of that scheme, is that actually it's about replacing what was taken away in terms of that town centre. So maybe we bring that it's maybe 6 to 8 months. I mean, it's looking at, we make a decision, we can have a catch up, can't we, and see when we've got something more interesting to tell members about the next phase we've got to, then we can maybe bring that back, because I think we need to, we've because now we've got some momentum in the actual development, it's keen that we just keep seeing that, because it is a key site that I think's been on members' radar for since 2019 really. So it's, you know, we're looking at 6 years of a scheme that hasn't changed, and now Sanctuary are involved, and planning have done a lot of work, and we've worked. I mean, this is a clear partnership.
Yes.
I mean, we've worked really on both actually this site and also on on Beechwood. We've done a lot of work to ensure that we can get the schemes through quickly, and and especially with Langdon, we got it through as non-material amendments, just to quicken up the process through the planning process. So again, it's key for us that we see the scheme moving. So whether we look at 6 to 8 months, and we've got something really important to tell you in the next stages, and we have to see the little works and also the houses, the flats starting to come out of the ground. We can do that.
Yeah, and of course you're more than welcome to come to site as well. You know, have a look round if you guys want to.
Right, thank you. There's just one question I had to ask you. Do you have anything to do with the car park?
The car park at the...
Car park at the rear?
Yes, we do.
Because it seems to be full of commuter cars.
Yeah, so we need to have a look at that. When I was on site today, I did notice that there were a lot of cars parked there. So there is parking enforcement, but I need to pick up with that company whether, you know, what they're picking up in terms of people's habits of using that area. So I think they should have a 3-hour limit, which should stop commuters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit out of control, because people who need to go to the doctor's surgery don't have anywhere to park, and sometimes you can be waiting in there an hour. So it would be nice if we could sort something out.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at that anyway, and also look to reconfigure that parking area, because it doesn't seem the best use of space at the minute. Some of those parking spaces are difficult to access. It's not ideal. So we're going to have a complete review of that anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I think the main thing is up the top where you've got the parent and child parking and the disabled parking. I think those spaces need to be marked out so they're clearly visible. Some of the spaces are too short because they've got vegetation in there. But yes, it's better than it was with the cameras and the fines, because people didn't really know where to park. But if you could have a look at it with the amount of commuters parking there, because if they're going up to London all day, then they need to sort their parking out. Thank you.
Yeah, leave that with me, and I'll report back on that.
The next item on the agenda is the work programme. I hope you've all read it. There's various items that we've got to deal with. Emma has very kindly listed some various subjects which we might need to discuss. I just wondered if anybody else had any more ideas of what we could do. Okay, Terry.
Thank you, Chairman. I've got a few items that I'd like to go on to the work programme for the March meeting, but before I say those, I'd just like to ask you why it's been 7 months since the elections that this is the first community and engagement scrutiny committee. There is no excuse. Other scrutiny committees have taken place. This is our first one, and we're in January. We've got one more in March. So we've done absolutely no work for seven months. And there are a number of items, particularly community. The item that's been on this evening is really a housing regen item. I mean, we've got the cost of living that I'd like to go on. we've got the fuel allowance that I'd like to go on. There's actually community engagement, any consultation that's gone on. You know, there is absolutely nothing here, and tonight's agenda being so light, it's practically a waste of time us coming along. We could have emailed you what we would like on the committee, because we had one informal meeting where officers asked us what we'd like on the agenda, on the work programme, to which some of us put a few bits and pieces forward. And what we've got on there is the next one in February. Is it February? Is a joint one. Now that again is to do with Morgan Sindel, so that really is housing. And then we've got the Community Safety Annual Report, and then the Billericay and Wickford voluntary services and community transport. So where do we start to dig into our community engagement and youth work that we've been doing? You know, is there no, like we had, there's no cabinet report? I mean, you've got Councillor Ferguson, the cabinet member for this, has got a number of items that he's working on, and there's also the activity centre review. That's got some news going forward. You know, that should be on here as well, which I'd like to put on, if I may. So there's all of these items that we could discuss, and we've not had the opportunity, and we've got one more month to do so.
Well, I am on the email system. I am on the telephone. If somebody wanted to contact me with regard to this, you could have done. It's not a problem. I do take exception to being dug out on Facebook by Councillor Alex, whatever his name is. And as far as I'm concerned, I had the meeting in the beginning. I asked you to put anything forward that you wanted to discuss. If there were further items you wanted to discuss, you could have emailed me, you could have contacted me, you could have contacted the clerk. So until I saw this tonight, I haven't seen it. Now, with the best will in the world, I can ask the questions and I can offer a meeting, but like you say, the last time I went into a briefing meeting, there wasn't anything to discuss. Now, I had that briefing meeting with Christine, and I had it with the lady from the housing. Sorry?
It was Kirsty and Elaine, yeah.
Yeah. And it turned out that there was nothing that was ready for discussion. Now, the one thing that I was quite keen to get on was the Langdon Centre, because nothing at the time was happening, and now stuff is happening, and we've got that over with. And the housing thing isn't ready yet, I don't think, until that's the one that Kim wanted done, but that's not ready yet. So those were the two items. So if anybody else had anything, then surely you would have let me know.
Chairman, the onus isn't on us. We are the scrutiny, part of the scrutiny committee, but you are the chairman. If you wanted to contact us, we are all on the email system. It's not for us to tell you what to do. It's for you to tell us what you would like to scrutinise, and for us to get together and, if that's what was felt, that we needed another meeting. But with all the items, you know, the items that I've given you, there's the cost of living. Since then there's the fuel. You know, there are so many items that are things that have been happening, and I've said that, you know, there's a cabinet member that would, you know, that you should be speaking to on bringing some more items forward. This isn't a housing scrutiny committee, it's a community engagement committee. So please don't put it on us, because you're the chairman of this committee, and I just think I think it's really poor that after 7 months this is our first committee, and it's not fair to drag us out with these items to discuss when we feel that there are so much more?
Well, I think I still maintain that if you had these questions and you wanted them, then somebody should have let me know. You know, as the chairman of the meeting, it's not me to call everybody in and decide what you're going to discuss. You're the group. We need to work together. So calling me out at the meeting is just really not fair. You know, we've had Christmas in between time. We've had the cost of living, yes, and we've got the winter fuel allowance and everything. But this stuff has been going on for a few months. It's gone over Christmas. And no, I'm not happy. Because as chairman of the committee, I just feel that we haven't achieved anything. But we've had Langdon Centre Sanctuary in tonight. We've got a work thing, so we need to just move forward.
I think, Chair, it's quite important that things like the Activity Centre review, you get a forward plan of information going to Cabinet, and if members want to take things to scrutiny that's on the forward plan for Cabinet, so it's really the Activity Centre review has been on Cabinet forward plan for a while. If members wanted that to come forward, then they should have asked you to bring that from Cabinet before it got to Cabinet, because really that's too late for a scrutiny review now, because that's about to go to Cabinet. So if members want to, authorities I've always worked at, members have to be aware of the forward plan of all the committees that there are, and then if they want things to come off those for scrutiny, then that's the best way to do it. And I think we need to talk to, because I think cost of living is being picked up at a different scrutiny, Anne, hasn't it? I'm sure it is, yeah. And I think the winter fuel allowance was picked up as well. So again, we need to make sure that we don't have the same things going to different scrutiny. So again, we need to be aware of what happens and what happens where. So I think that it's for members to understand what's on the Cabinet for a forward plan, and if they want to take things off that for scrutiny, then and if they're relating to the community, then they must do that. That's really important.
Well, Anne's made a list of your comments, and she's going to speak to the Cabinet member and ask what's happening.
Chairman, if we had known that was the way that we were to proceed, believe you me, I would have proceeded in that manner. From what the Director has told us this evening, that it is for us. Chairman, you are the chairman. We look to you as the chairman to help us and feed us. If we had any hint from officers, we've had no word from officers since that informal meeting. So if we had hints from officers, we could have done exactly that. We were waiting for you to contact us. That's what we felt. It's not for us to say to you, well, come on, Chairman, we want a meeting. Okay. And really, if that was the way, we would have appreciated for the officers to come forward and say this is the way to proceed, because you've not had a meeting for 7 months. But I'll ask our members if they were given that brief.
Well, I wasn't given that brief, so thank you for letting me know, and we need to sort something out.
I mean, on that point, I mean, there's a number of from other scrutinies that I've been dealing with, like the economic development strategy. Councillor Baker used the opportunity to bring that to his scrutiny in advance of that going to Cabinet, so that had been scrutinised. The local plan again was taken from the Cabinet position, and obviously that was scrutinised by the relevant scrutiny committee. So I think it's not the only place that you can get items to bring to scrutiny, but it's normally a good place to scrutinise the decisions we're about to make. So I mean, there's items which you might want to bring, like community engagement is a good one, because obviously we do a lot of community engagement, and we've been very successful at the moment. I think that, you know, looking at let's take for instance the local plan. The local plan, we've just got the statistics from the local plan closing on Sunday, and what's really impressive is the fact that the local plan had 23,000 individual people log on and enter the actual platform. So that's, you know, that's say we've got 80,000 properties in the borough. That's a huge amount of people, and from that we had 265 individual people. Sorry, 2,655 people actually went on to the website as well. And that's just from the Commonplace platform. That's not anything else we've had. So I think we are using that platform a lot better. So maybe there is a maybe Councillor Sargent is right. Maybe we do bring something around about community engagement and looking at actually how impactful that new platform has been compared to previous platforms. Because again, with the waste strategy, we got 8,000 responses to that same platform as well. So maybe we do a bit of work on community engagement and look at actually the different ways we can do it, and actually how successful we have been with that platform and current consultations. So that is actually quite a good one, and we can then look at also other engagement we've done along the way in terms of other forms of engagement that we've looked at, because we've done quite a cluster of consultation at the moment. So that probably is quite an interesting one to look at, Councillor Sargent. I think that's probably a good idea, because I think we've learned a lot. I would say in the last 6 months, starting with the race strategy, we've learned an awful lot about good engagement, and I think we are learning constantly about how better to engage with our residents. And I think the you know, maybe that's something that we do bring back to scrutiny to have a look at that, because I think that would be, you know, a good way of setting ourselves up for the consultations in 2025. We do that maybe the March scrutiny. We look at that.
Okay, I have been asked to do scrutinise the consultations that have been held by the council since May, and I have put that out.
The number of consultations we've done is probably, you know, because obviously there's been a lot happening because we have to. There's the waste one, there's the local plan one. We're about to do obviously Councillor Sargent's neighbourhood plans are going to full council on Thursday, so that one will go. We've got some further consultations going to happen this year, and maybe it's a good time to start looking at best practice.
Yeah, well, I've already put that consultation one in place, so it's just a question of when that's going to come up. But I think we need to get on with that one, because that was put in just after Christmas.
And maybe, Chair, we can look at, we can talk with Owen about where cost of living's been, and also the fuel allowance. So I think that's been picked up somewhere else. So let's just look at that. And then the options we've got is that whether that's scrutinised somewhere else, and then we bring it just back to here for noting or for a quick look at, rather than we all do the same thing, because that's what we don't want to do, is we overdo things. And I mean, it is important that have a look at what's on the forward plan, and what's and then if you think of anything that on the cabinet that needs to come in front of you, then please let us know. We can because a lot of the work is in train for those, so it is sometimes quite useful to bring those to scrutiny, especially when it's around community issues, to air them first.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we mentioned about the cabinet work plan. Is there any chance that we can have a copy of that work plan or their forward plan with our agenda, so that when we do look at our work plan, we can actually pinpoint the work that we can pull out, the engagement, community engagement side of it that they might be working on?
Maybe Chair, is the fact that we have a catch-up maybe next week, and we can then look at the forward plan for Cabinet, and maybe we can have a look at what's on there, and maybe we can actually pull some things off, and then we can get maybe Emma, it's Emma normally does this. We get Emma then to write to the whole of the committee that basically said, look, these are the items that relate to community. Which ones of these would you like to pull forward into scrutiny? And at least we can make sure officers are aware of what needs to go to scrutiny before they finally prepare their cabinet reports.
Did you put on the activity centre one, please, Chairman? Hearing what Mrs Lyons has just said, it makes absolute sense, but I thought that was all happening. And, Chairman, you should really have been notified. We never knew that. You know, we never knew. We were just waiting for the committee to come up, because, as you know, we had one committee and it got cancelled. No one told us why. You know, it just got cancelled. So if we can see that as soon as we can, maybe we can get some good items, because this is a good, you know, there's a lot of good stuff coming out of community, and it's sad that we've come here tonight with nothing to scrutinise. And some of the items that I brought up, I thought they would have fitted into the communities, but we don't know where they're going. So if that can help us as well, as Danny has said, to get those items specifically for this committee that's on Cabinet, then we know in what direction that we are going. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Councillor Sargent. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I don't do Facebook, Chairman. I don't do it. So if there's anything that you feel has come, and I'm not doing that.
No, it was Alex that did it.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I don't do Facebook.
No, and I get very annoyed at all of it.
Yeah, thank you. If you look on the PDF of the agenda, there is a link on there for the forward plan as well, so you can actually gain access to it from there.